The most powerful fat loss diet ever is based on one super important principle that you've probably been ignoring. I've known it for a long time, but I kick myself every time I get away from it. I recently watched a podcast with Dr. Benjamin Bikman, professor of cell biology and physiology. I actually read his book in the past, and the core message was spot on. Bikman argues that insulin management is the key to fat loss. I 150% agree. Quick disclaimer. I'm not a medical doctor, registered dietitian, or scientist. I'm a physical therapist and 50-plus lifter with 37 years of experience in this game. The diet approach I'm about to share is not a prescription. It's just based on how I approach fat loss. My hope is that you can get a greater understanding of why you've been struggling to lose fat. Before I cover the diet principles, we have to discuss insulin. If you get this right, the rest is just details. Insulin is a hormone produced in the pancreas. It plays a crucial role in regulating blood sugar levels. Glucose uptake. Insulin acts as the key that unlocks cells, allowing glucose or sugar from the bloodstream to enter and be used for energy to muscles, organs, and other tissues like the nerves. Glucose storage. When there's excess glucose in the bloodstream, insulin signals the liver and muscles to store it as glycogen, a form of carbohydrate. This helps blood sugar levels from becoming too high. Fat storage. Insulin also promotes fat storage by stimulating the conversion of excess glucose into triglycerides, which are then stored in fat cells. Protein synthesis. Insulin plays a role in protein synthesis, the process by which the body builds and repairs tissues, especially muscle. Insulin resistance. When cells become less responsive to insulin, this can lead to elevated blood sugar levels. This is the number one reason why, despite being in a calorie deficit, you still can't lose body fat. Step 1. Carbohydrate control. I eliminate all added sugars that add empty calories. This step for me is non-negotiable. Regular soda, baked goods, breakfast cereals, candy, fruit drinks, sweetened milk, ice cream, and flavored yogurt, just to name a few. Common sense, yes, but sometimes you need a reminder. By simply avoiding foods that contain added sugar, you'll automatically avoid almost all junk food. And this dramatically reduces calorie intake without even trying. So you start losing body fat without counting calories. Back to insulin. When insulin levels are high, all fat burning stops. By keeping excess sugar out of the bloodstream, you allow your body to continue to burn fat throughout the day. I cut back on starch, bread, rice, pasta, etc. It's not that these foods are bad. It's the effect they have on insulin that you want to mitigate. When you eat too much starch at one time, you're going to spike your blood sugar high and fast. But wait, you say, doesn't eating protein and fat slow down digestion and blood sugar release? Not so fast. It will if the carb load is small, but too many carbs will always overload the system. The pancreas will release insulin to clear that blood sugar. Unfortunately, insulin tends to overshoot and can send your blood sugar crashing, making you crave more starch and sugar again. So the next bolus of sugar or starch you eat will go directly to fat storage because the muscles and organs and other tissues are full. And if you have insulin resistance, which I guess many of you may have, you see why this can be problematic. By reducing starch and cutting out added sugars, you'll keep insulin quiet and only activate it when you truly need it, like post-workout when your muscles are starving for energy. This in turn will decrease the intense cravings for sugar. I try to limit myself to 2 servings of starch per day, eaten around my training. Before you scream, that sounds like keto. That doesn't include the low-calorie fruit that I eat at other times of the day. The days I don't train, I just eat fruit and maybe 1 serving of starch because I really don't need it. I never restrict my vegetable intake. Because my starch is so low, I make sure I get plenty of fiber in produce. I eat protein at each meal. I shoot for 1 gram per pound of target body weight. Not what I currently weigh, but what I want to weigh. But I don't stress if I don't hit that number. I just make sure I get at least 125 grams per day, which for me is about 0.7 grams per pound of target body weight. I'm not afraid of fat. I hope you're not either, because I know I won't store fat if I'm not eating too many total calories. Fat is filling and adds lots of flavor to my meals, making it super easy to stick to my nutrition. I eat until I'm satisfied, not stuffed. I make a deliberate effort to eat slowly. If halfway through a meal I feel full, I stop eating and I wait a couple of hours. If I'm hungry again, I finish the meal. Protein, fiber, and fat fills me up and keeps me satisfied. It also regulates my blood sugar. Step 3, I keep an eye on calories. If the scale stops moving down when I'm in a fat loss phase and I don't look visibly leaner, I know I'm eating too much. I'll reduce portions and wait 2 weeks. If I'm still stuck, then I need to track calories for a week. Everyone hates tracking, I know, but it's just for a week so that I can identify my blind spots. I'll take my target body weight, multiply that by 10. So for example, if my target body weight is 175 pounds, multiplied by 10, that's 1,750 calories per day. And I'll make sure to stay at or below that number. With that done, fat loss and weight always starts to go down again. The last thing I do is a mini fast. I go from 10 at night to between 10 and 11 the next morning before I eat a meal. There's nothing magical here. It just works well with my schedule. I'm really not hungry till around that time. If you want to see why testosterone explodes when you hit 15% body fat, or if you want to see 15 early signs of fat loss, watch one of these videos next. And as always, thanks so much for watching.